Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Unit 5. Wanted to talk a little bit in Unit 5 about another model of curriculum development. You've had, over the first 4 weeks of the course, gotten used to Oliva's model, and we spent some time in a previous video talking about the steps of Oliva's model. But I think it's important for you to have another model at your disposal as well, just to kind of push your thinking and to consider some of the pluses and minuses of each one. There's no perfect model, but I think this is it's an interesting one. And I would say, along with the Oliva model, it certainly is one that's very popular and is very well known. It's one that is known as understanding by design. Sometimes it's also referred to as backwards planning by Wiggins and McTeague, and this is the book here that kind of outlines the entire process. It is a little more streamlined, for better or worse, than the Oliva model. So for some of you that may be something that appeals to you, for others maybe not. I will say there's one particular aspect of this model that I like, that I'm gonna kind of point out as we kind of go through it, and then you guys can make your own decisions about what you think of it. So like the Oliva model, this model also begins with these two key questions, right? What are the needs of society and the students in society? What are the needs of the particular community and the particular students in the community? Both models start with the exact same questions. So just as you would in the Oliva model, you're going to need to make sure that you're kind of taking some time to really carefully answer these. And then it deviates a little bit. So this model is all about, at the very outset, specifying at each individual grade level, for each subject, for every unit, for every particular aspect of curriculum you can think of, it's asking the person that's developing the curriculum to answer these three questions. What should students know? In other words, what kind of facts and discrete pieces of information should students know at the end of the unit, course, whatever? What concepts do they need to understand at a deep level? And then what skills do they have to have mastered, right? So let's take, for example, photosynthesis, a central part of every high school biology course. Students would need to know, for example, what a chloroplast is. They would need to know what a pigment molecule is. They would need to know what a plant cell, what the parts of a plant cell are. They would need to understand the concept of capturing light energy. So they would need to understand that concept, what that actually means. They would maybe need the skills they might be able to do. They would need to be able to use a microscope to be able to look at, plant cells and chloroplasts under that particular microscope. Just an example. So what students need to know, understand, and be able to do, that happens first, right up front. After this is outlined in detail, the question becomes, and this is something that's a little bit different. The Oliva model leaves this till the very end. So once I have specified what I want students to know, understand, and be able to do, I specify what evidence is going to be acceptable that they can actually do that. In other words, I'm thinking about, how am I going to know whether or not they can know, understand, and be able to do these things? How am I going to assess them, and what types of assessment evidence is going to be acceptable? I go ahead and do that right after I specify what I want them to know, understand, and be able to do. And all that happens before I plan instruction. So I know what the learning goals are. I know how I'm going to assess those learning goals. And then the instruction comes at the very end. This is why this is called backwards planning, because often that sometimes we end up planning instruction without a clear idea of how we're going to assess, perhaps, or without thinking enough about the details of what we want students to know, understand, and be able to do. So this is streamlined. If you compare the steps here with the earlier steps we talked about in the Oliva model, streamlined. Are a lot of the principles similar? Absolutely. I think the key difference here is in this understanding by design model, there's a real emphasis on developing assessment and thinking about assessment carefully in all of its details before you ever get to planning instruction. And Wiggins and McTeague would say that that's absolutely essential. So if you have any question about this model relative to the LEVA model, don't hesitate to reach out. Hope you're having a great day, everybody. Thank you very much.